You know, this time of the year, it's not quite summer, but it's hot. And it's, because the flowers aren't in full bloom or anything, not unless you bought them already blooming at some of the Walmarts or grocery stores or wherever you go to buy your plants for your yard. But everything is just green. So we celebrate this time when everything is green and the wildflowers are growing and all the grass that people are trying to get rid of, like dandelions and beautiful little pink and purple flowers, just tiny little things. But when you look from a distance, it looks like a flow of purple through the yard. But it's really just wildflowers, just, I don't know, just to me, the simple things like that and watching the squirrels fight over leaves as they make their nest. I don't know if they're fighting over them, they're taking turns, and they chew them off, the branches, and then they carry them to wherever they're making their nest. And sometimes they drop them. I told you about it, one dropping them and dropping their stick of leaves down and scared Connor. Well, he didn't know where it come from because, he can't see. That was a hoot. That was really a hoot. We got this guy at the center, this changing subject, but he's got some kind of autism, and he always comes in and tells us about his jacket he wears. And he tells us every time he gets on the bus, he's got his jacket because it's cool enough for him to wear his jacket. And he'll show you the lining of his jacket, and walk on. So the other day, he didn't wear his jacket. And he said, I thought I'd just wear a brown shirt today. So he wore a brown shirt. And, of course, he had to tell him all about that. And then, guess what he started doing this week? Oh, you won't believe it. It's so cute. It's just so endearing. He really is endearing. And he comes over and he says, you want to see my driver's license? I got a driver's license. And I was thinking to myself, I don't even have a driver's license. See, and here's this guy, he's like this, and he's driving, I guess. So I said, yes, I would love to see it, Joe. So he brought his billfold over, and he slid his driver's license up, and there was a picture of him, sure enough. But it was an Arkansas ID, because you get IDs. And the reason he was showing it around to everybody is he said, see, I'm having a birthday soon. And I said, oh my goodness, it's June the 4th. He says, yeah, so I'm going to have a birthday. He's so proud he's going to have a birthday. So he gets in this, he keeps repeating the same thing over and over to everyone, and he does that. He sits alone and he talks to himself, Occasionally he'll have a buddy come and sit with him that's just like him, and I don't even know how they communicate, but it's quite amazing. They do so well. And he gets on the bus. But so this week is going to be until June the 4th. Anyway, he's going to be showing his ID to everybody at the senior citizens. So at the end of the month at senior citizens, they have a birthday party for all the birthdays within the month. I talked about that. And a lot of places do that, for the people. But, so anyway, he was going around with his ID. And he's always telling us, well, he wore shorts yesterday. Was it yesterday he wore shorts? And he has little socks on, little shoes, little socks, his little socks and his brown shirt. He was so proud. And he says it's going to be a hot day, so I wore my shorts. Well, he has a caregiver that makes sure that he gets on the bus and I guess takes care of him during the day. And he's just as happy as he can be. Just happy as he can be. He can't talk very well and really can't make conversations, but he will listen and be attentive, and show up every day. Get on that bus. Get on that bus. So, we have some extraordinary people. They just all, this one guy, bless his heart, he's had a stroke or something, and he comes every day, and he has a walker, and they bring him on a bus. And so he colors, and he colors in the coloring books, and he's just so into his colors. But when you get him to start talking while he's coloring, as long as he's coloring, he can talk. And he'd tell you all about his brother and going fishing. And it's so sweet, the little story. He says, when we were little boys, my daddy would tell my brother, I can't remember his brother's name, but anyway, he says, and his brother, they would go fishing. His brother would take him. Because evidently he was the baby brother. Well, he hadn't had a stroke, and this is the old man. Yeah. Anyway, he's telling about the story. And he says, yes, then we had to dig worms, and then we had to put them in a tin. And then he's going into every detail of everything he had and how he did it, His mind is, was there. And he was telling all about the water, colors of the water, and how the dragonflies were dipping down, and touching the water as they flew around the pond where he fished, him and his brother, and where they always caught little brim. How proud he was that they'd go home, but on the way home they'd have to stop at Grandma's, and they had to show their fish off to Grandma, and then they had to go to one of his aunts, and show off his fish, and said that really the reason that they went to all these places to look at the fish, because each one of them, the grandma would give them lemonade or ice water or cookie or biscuit or something, and so they were just going from house to house, and that's what they did when they went fishing. But he says his favorite time is one time they went fishing, and they got everything prepared, and they're going out and they're going fishing, and it's really a ditch kind of thing, off of a main branch of a small river, and that's where they fished. And he said that this time it was different. It was real different because there were other people at their fishing hole. There were men at their fishing hole, and they were very upset about that. So they didn't want to go to their fishing hole. So they decided that they would just walk around the ditch and go around to the other side and find another place to fish. Said they went and they walked 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 and walked, and said they ended up in the next town because there wasn't a way around the ditch. So they didn't fish that day. I thought, and I said, you mean, so you didn't get any ice water, you didn't get biscuits, you didn't get any cookies? And he says, no, and we were awfully thirsty. I said, how'd you get home? He says, I don't remember. And then the next moment, his head's laying on the top of the table with his little coloring pencil in his hand, and he's sound asleep. Isn't that sweet? He was remembering his dad, him and his little brother. I mean, him and his brother going fishing when they were kids. It was sweet. Oh, very, very sweet. Well, I did do my calisthenics, and I was very proud of that, so it was a good thing. But I'm trying to keep busy, and it's not hard to do here. Not hard to do. It's a busy time all the time, and there's always something exciting to happen. Oh, this is so much different than anywhere else I've lived. I think it's a good thing.